We are back. That's right. We are officially back. This is the Ethnic Health Disparities podcast show. My name is Dr. B. Welcome back to our show. This is show number 11. Show number 11. Oh my gosh. Yes, show number 11. And this show and the next show, show 12, are probably the most significant shows as of right now. As of right now. Show 11. This is show 11. And we are going, oh my gosh, we are going to look at one of the most significant reports in the past 2 decades. And this is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention Report 2017. Morbidity and Mortality Weekly 2017. I'm going to get into it in just a second. Let me take care of some business. Yes, this is Dr. B, and this is the Ethnic Health Disparities podcast show. I want to thank everyone for subscribing to our new podcast show launched in March. And this is show number 11. If you want to send me an email me at ejb678@gmail.com. And also subscribe to our podcast show through iTunes. Yes, we've been on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and even YouTube. So we are out there. So thank you so much for supporting the show. We are continuing to produce our shows. And what I try to do is produce 2 shows per week. So again, we are right there, and I want to, again, thank you. Spread the word. Spread the word, because and now we're getting into some heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. Heavy data about ethnic health and health disparities. Now the real deal is happening. Okay, so, and matter of fact, this call everybody, because this is going to break the presses. This show number 11 is going to break the presses, and this is an outcome of the previous shows, show 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Show 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. When I was going through the CDC's Health Disparities and Equalities report, and guess what? Now I pulled up, yes, the Morbidity and Mortality Weekly report from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Now we're into it. Let's get into it. Wow, this is earth-shattering. This report from, and let me just say, this is the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention reports, weekly report, the MMWR. And you can look this, I want you to Google this. Look this up. And let me give you a backdrop. Oh my gosh, I'm 3 minutes in. Let's go. The Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. This is a series of reports prepared by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, often called the Voice of CDC. The MMWR series is the agency's primary vehicle for scientific publication of timely, reliable, authoritative, accurate, objective, and useful public health information and recommendations. The MMWR readership predominantly consists of physicians, nurses, public health practitioners, epidemiologists, and other scientists, researchers, educators, and laboratorians. The data in the weekly MMWR are provisional based on weekly reports to CDC by state health departments. The reporting week concludes at close of business on Friday. Compiled data on a daily basis are officially released to the public on the succeeding Friday. So the MMR is the voice of CDC. And I was fortunate to actually work 20 hours per week at CDC from 1993 to 1995 when I was doing a postdoc fellowship at Emory University, receiving my MPH. So I know the dynamics of CDC. Very fortunate. I love CDC. I love what they're doing, and I truly enjoy the objectivity, the structure, the dynamics, the authoritative reports coming from CDC. So that's the reason why I'm examining this particular report. May 5th, 2017. It's entitled Vital Signs, Racial Disparities in Age-Specific Mortality Among Blacks or African Americans, United States, 1999 to 2015. Hello. 1999 to 2015. They're looking at this pool of data of 16 years. This age-specific mortality among blacks or African Americans. And they found some very interesting trends. That's the reason why I'm going to have, this will be 2 shows. Show 11 and show 12. This is a powerful landmark report. And I am completely, let me just say this. Hello, audience. Hello, general audience. Hello, general audience. Yes, and I'm so hyped up on this one. It's off the charts. I am. This just came to me a few weeks ago because I do my research for each show weeks in advance. And when I came across this report, I couldn't even believe it. Yes, I and guess what? I'm going to share this with my my graduate class too, because this has been an oversight of my graduate class. I couldn't believe this, but I've been so busy with my my teaching at the university. But that's the reason why I do these shows. I can get them extra time to find out some new data. And here is some new data that somehow missed the general public. And very, very significant. Now, the authors of this report are Dr. Timothy Cunningham, Janet Croft, Yang Lui, Hui Lu, and Paul Eck, and Wayne Giles, and Dr. Dot. And so I'm going to highlight the significance of this, but this was published in Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, May 5th, 2017. Look it up. And I'm going to provide a quick overview why this is so significant and how they downplayed the most powerful piece of data in over 20, 30, 40, 50 years. See, this is where you have to see, when you take on an ethnic health disparities approach, everything gets flipped. Mainstream data gets flipped over. And the reason why you have to flip it over, take on the perspective from the community's perspective, not mainstream perspective. Not mainstream perspective, which is predominantly based in just the generic middle America. But when you flip it over, you're taking the perspective from the specific ethnic populations. And I'm flipping this over, taking the perspective from the Black African American perspective. And that's the reason why this is so significant. It's so powerful. Hello. This is just earth-shattering. I kid you not. I'm just shocked. So let me just read the abstract. The abstract, the background, methods, results, and their quick conclusions. Now this just, it's mind-blowing. It is just phenomenal. And I'm going to finish this out with restating why I think this is the most significant report as it relates to ethnic health disparities in over 50, 60 years. I'm going to say eventually 100 years, you know that. But let me get to this. 9 minutes in. Background. Although the overall life expectancy at birth has increased for both blacks and whites, and the gap between these populations has narrowed, disparities in life expectancy and the leading causes of death for blacks compared with whites in the United States remain substantial. Understanding how factors that influence these disparities vary across the lifespan might influence the targeting of appropriate interventions. The methods. Trends during 1999-2015 and mortality rates for the leading cause of death were examined by blacks and white race and age group, multiple 2014 and 2015 national data resources were analyzed to compare blacks with whites in selected age groups and social demographic characteristics, self-reported health behaviors, health-related quality of life indicators, use of health services, and chronic conditions. Results. Here's what they say in the results. This is a synopsis of the report. Results. During 1999 to 2015, age-adjusted death rates decreased significantly in both populations, with rates declining more sharply among blacks for most leading causes of death. Thus, the disparity gap in all-cause mortality rates narrowed from 33% in 1999 to 16%. Wow. Then they say, however, during 2015, blacks still had higher death rates than whites for all-cause mortality in all groups, aged less than 65 years and 65 years and younger. Compared with whites, blacks in age groups less than 65 years and older had higher levels of some self-reported risk factors and chronic diseases and mortality among cardiovascular disease and cancer diseases that are most common among persons aged less than 65 years and old. Findings to continue to reduce disparities. These findings suggest an ongoing need. Now, this is the conclusion among blacks, cardiovascular disease and their risk. And so that's the abstract. The most important element to this, I'm 11 minutes in, I'm 12 minutes in, is the first portion of the results. Now I'm going to go into the article very quickly. And that's the reason why this is, I don't know how many shows this might be, but it's going to at least be 2 shows. Here is the most remarkable part of this report, the findings. And I'm getting to the results. It says results. In 1999, age-specific death rates for any cause of death were 1,135.7 per 100,000 for blacks, 854 per 0.6 per 100,000 whites. Again, we got to go through this data. This is so important. Please be patient. By 2015, the racial gap had narrowed with age-adjusted death rates of 851.9 per 100,000 blacks and 735 per 100,000 for whites. Now, I'm moving a few things around in the studio very quickly. Everything's moving forward. The age-adjusted death rate in 2015 relative to that of 1990 had declined 25% for blacks and 14% for whites. There were 284 fewer age-adjusted death rates per 100,000 for blacks during 2015 compared with 1999, whereas there were 120 fewer age-adjusted death rates per 100,000 for whites. Here we go. Here's the most significant part. We're getting into it. The disparity gap in all-cause mortality rates decreased from 33% in 1999 to 16% in 2015. Like I said earlier, among adults aged less than 65 and old, the death rate in 2015 relative to that of 1999 declined 27% for blacks, 17% for whites, resulting in a crossover in death rates beginning in 2010 when blacks had lower death rates than whites. Blacks were dying less than whites beginning in 2010. Here's the remarkable part of it. I'm 14 minutes in. Here we go. I'm just reading it specifically. Age-specific deaths for selected leading causes of death among blacks declined between 1999 and 2015. Notable declines, for example, included heart disease, declined 15%, cancer 24%, human immune deficiency virus, HIV, sorry about that, declined 80%. 80% HIV at ages 18 to 34 years of age. Heart disease declined 22%. Cancer declined 38%. HIV disease 79% at ages 35 to 49 years of age. Heart disease 32% and 43%. Cancer 27% and 29%. And cerebral vascular disease 34% and 41% for the 50 to 64 age group and greater than 65 age group. Oh my gosh. That is remarkable. Notable declines from 1999 to 2015 among African Americans. Declines. Less death rate, lower morbidity, lower mortality. 15% decline. Cancer, 24%. HIV, 80% for ages 18 to 34 years of age. For ages 50 to 64 years of age, heart disease declined 22%. Cancer declined 38%. HIV disease declined 79%. Hello. That's for the 35 to 49 years of age. For the 50 to 64 year age group, heart disease declined 32%. Cancer, 27%. Cardiovascular disease, 34 and 41%. This is remarkable. This is significant. And then it said, guess what? This results in a crossover in death rates beginning 2010 when blacks had lower death rates than whites. Now, why do you think I'm highlighting this in this report? Why? Hello, General. Why do you think I'm making a big deal about this CDC Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report? Why? Yeah, you got the answer. I can hear you. The reason why is that normally we don't hear about this. Normally we hear about the death rates are always higher among blacks than whites in all categories. Consistently. And yes, it is still higher. No doubt in 2019. There is a gap that African American blacks die from heart disease, cancer, HIV, cerebral vascular disease than many groups. But when you start looking at the data from 1999 to 2015, this is 16 years worth of data. And this research team, I believe, was caught by surprise. The next show is going to be the other side of it, the cultural dynamics of this report. See, this is where having an individual like myself, an African American, view this from an African American perspective, I'm flipping it. I'm looking at this mainstream data and flipping it. That is, turning it over. And this is what you have to do with most of and this is what I do in my graduate classes anyway, particularly in my ethnic health and health disparities class, my African American health class, and my global public health class. Hello, that was a little plug. But this is what I do. But this is what you can do. When you hear about reports on any particular racial and ethnic population that says there are higher rates, continue to look at that data. Go through that data. And it's very easy to go through it. Anyone could go through the data. And usually there's always this small little vignette of data that's counter to the mindset of mainstream America. And mainstream America is really ready for this new data. And here's this new data for this report. Hello, CDC. Thank you. Somehow this got kind of buried, overlooked. I'm not overlooking this data. So from 1999 to 2015, we had drastic decline in death rate among adults, African Americans, in these categories of heart disease, cancer, HIV, cerebrovascular disease. Hello, from the 18 to 34 year age group, I'll get it out, 35 to 49 year age group, and the 50 to 64 year age group, and the over 65 year age group. Hello. So from age 18 to over 65, older than 65 and older, hello, we've seen drastic decline. This is phenomenal. Here's another step to question. Let me just ask another simple question. How does this occur? And what are the related factors for these declines? Hello. That's another show. we can conjecture. We can take the next step. I have to give you the data first in this first show. And the next show, we're going to do something. Something new again. But I had to give you this data. This is remarkable data. The bottom line in this report, I'm 21 minutes in, from this report from Morbidity and Mortality, CDC, May 2nd, 2017, racial disparities in age-specific mortality among blacks or African Americans, United States, 1999 to 2015, the researchers saw, CDC documented that the disparity gap in all-cause mortality rates decreased from 33% in 1999 to 16% in 2015. Age-specific death rates, leading causes of death among blacks, declined, most notably in heart disease, cancer, HIV. Remarkable declines. We're talking about 15, 24%, 80% for HIV. For the 34 to 49 year age group, 22% for heart disease, cancer, 38%, HIV, 79%. Heart disease for the 50 to 64 year age group, heart disease, 32%. Cancer, 27%. Cerebral vascular disease, 34%. These are remarkable declines. And this can no longer be overlooked. So this is Ethnic Health Disparity Show, podcast show number 11. We just looked at the racial disparities in age-specific mortality among blacks or African Americans, U.S. 1990. This is just so remarkable. From 1999 to 2015. Earth-shattering. Share it. If you have any comments, please email me at ejb678@gmail.com. Subscribe to my podcast through iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube. This is earth-shattering, folks. I'm having too much fun with this, but this is serious, and we now can really dig into these reports and find out and answer the questions. Flip it over. Ask simple questions. That's what I'm doing for all of us. Talk to you again soon. Peace out, folks. This is Dr. B, having too much fun and being serious about this. Stay tuned, folks. This is show number 11. Peace out.